Welcome to the weekly rundown after that meltdown.
That's tough.
Preview for Week 6. This week we've got a lot of big matchups coming up, especially the Broadcast Bowl and another potential preview of the Toilet Bowl.
But first, in a completely unrelated side note, hey Emerson, when are you going to update the history page? When are you going to update the history page? It's not 2011 anymore. We need you to update that.
All right.
And that was also a nod to the legendary California Rose Bowl trip with Gelhard, Drew Susat, and I. That song was playing in the Mustang convertible every 5 minutes when we were cruising LA.
Well, let's get right into the previews going forward here.
And yeah. So where we start?
Got a quick rundown of the games that are coming up, and then we've got an interview for one of the managers.
The first ever guest owner interview.
Yeah. So first of all, we've got Rome's team against Craig Ineson. Now, Craig's a 15-point...
Call it the proper Polkai Panthers.
Polkai Panthers.
It's the Polkai Panthers. It's not Rome's team.
Yeah. So Craig's a 15-point favorite going into this game. Pretty sure he's going to win that spread.
Nope.
I don't see Rome. I don't see Rome doing anything.
He's pulling the upset this week because the Packers are gonna. They're circling the wagons. They're circling the wagons, and Mike McCarthy's gonna make a statement against Houston. Andre Johnson, Arian Foster can get shut down. You're gonna see it's one of those games where it's a turning point for the Packers season. It's on national TV. They're gonna dominate the Texans.
So somehow the Green Bay Packers are the Buffalo Bills, and they're gonna circle the wagons.
Circle the wagons.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
Except the Green Bay Packers. That's Mike McCarthy rallies the troops. Hey, next man up! That's what they say when people are hurt.
So Rome is starting Kendall Hunter and Sean Green.
But Craig is running into the Packers with Andre Johnson and Arian Foster, so it's a wash.
Kool-Aid. He drinks it.
No,
all right. So we've got Owen, Buddy Bear's little nephew, going against Dream Crushers. Dream Crushers 11-point favorite going into this one. How do you feel about the game?
Dream Crushers had like I said last week, he's rolling snake eyes. Pretty much every single thing that can happen to go right for him is going wrong. Actually, snake eyes is usually a bad thing, but whatever. I just mean it's rare.
Rolling sevens.
Rolling sevens is probably better, but that's not as rare as rolling snake eyes.
But it's lucky.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like snake eyes, only it's the opposite because it's just very lucky. Everything's going his way. His luck ends. Owen Goal is on a big run, and he had a big score last week, even without Marshawn Lynch or Jones Drew doing much. You don't really expect him to have off weeks 2 weeks in a row. So he's going to get some good production and out of Lynch and Jones Drew, and I think Owen's going to put the Dream Crusher in his place to clear the way for the Buddy Bear Big Timers to get back on top where they belong. Because Owen and I are both graduating into greatness.
Well, I think that Dream Crushers is going to crush your dreams as well as Owen's this week. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it'll be... I think when everything's said and done, this will be the game that will say this was the game of the week.
Owen and Dream Crushers is definitely the game of the week. Even though they're not in the same division, they're the division champions. The leaders.
Yeah.
So it's got to be the game of the week when it's...
I'm going to give Drew a close nod. Now we've got a preview that involves the owner that's going to be...
You'll be able to address anything if we disagree.
Yeah. Nick against Greg. We actually...
I know. Say it proper. It's Picket Fence Cartel versus Messi Madrid.
Picket Fence Cartel against Messi.
We when the Green Bay Packers play, they don't say it's Mike McCarthy and Ted Thompson's team.
Well, it's a 12-point favorite for Nick.
Yeah, and that's
Picket Fence Cartel.
And who does? Greg has Brandon Marshall on bye, Matt Forte on bye. His depth is a little shaky, so I think that's fair given that. I think Messi Madrid gets the nod if all his players are playing, but since he's got two huge contributors, like not just starters, but two of his 3 or 4 key players.
Picket Fence catches him at a good time.
Yeah,
I think he'll get that win.
Yeah, this is the best week to run into Madrid because, unless there's the Vic McCoy when they are on bye too, but other than that, this is the most advantageous time to run into him.
And then we got It's a Dry Heat running up against Little Brother.
31-point favorite for the Dry Heat. That's pretty good this week. Matt's team is rough this week.
Yeah, you gotta. Dan's Raji has done well so far, but this week just the matchups and who he's got available to him doesn't look that good.
Colston's on bye.
Yeah, Colston's on bye. It's a bye week for the Saints. Gonna have to go with Kelly.
Yeah,
this one.
And it's not to those who might be confused. It's not his wife Kelly. It's his buddy Kelly.
Yeah.
He calls him Kelly number 1, Kelly number 2, and Kelly Snyder was a little forlorn when he was no longer Kelly number 1 and became Kelly number 2. But
that probably happened before the wedding, though. Overall, I mean.
Yeah, the wife comes first now, and I don't know if they were going to go to the movies tonight, either Frankenweenie or Brave. I don't know which one they went to though. But I did get texted a piece of candy that said Muddy Bears instead of Buddy Bears. So there's somebody's ripping off my idea and selling candy with it. But I gotta say though that that means they're probably at the movies if they see Muddy Bears and are taking pictures and sending it on their phone to me.
Well, and then we got the 2 games of the show. First of all, we got, again, Toilet Bowl of the Week. We got Team Mediocre versus the bye week.
Yeah, that's Team Mediocre's. This is I gotta say that until the Thursday game, in full disclosure, I was gonna say this is bye week's moment to shine. He's gonna pull his first win of the year against the mediocre one, but Mendenhall got hurt again, and he's put
up next to nothing.
Yeah, 2 points. And after the rough Thursday night game where he had 2 players going, what was the other one he had?
He had the receiver.
Kendall Wright. And Kendall Wright had a good game, but Mendenhall had a miserable game because of the injury. So I got to say that with the Thursday information available, Team Mediocre probably wins. But if Gelhard does get his first win of the year, I called it before Thursday. I just didn't say so until Friday.
And then we've got the Broadcast Bowl.
Yeah, this is the only time of the week we're going to be able to be on other sides of the fence. I'm going to kill you, man.
Well, you know what? I think that texted image perhaps was a sign of things to come. I think that Buddy Bear is going to have muddy-looking pants after the games this Sunday, and he's going to be wondering what happened to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is going to put up 8 points maybe against the Texans.
No, we're talking they're circling the wagons.
They're going to get slaughtered.
No, and actually, this is I'm full strength, not a single starter on bye, and I already made the right call, I think. Jared Cook only got 9 on Thursday, so I made the right call to go with Witten there, even though ESPN's projections said otherwise. Bunch of bums. I would have had a bigger. I'm a 39-point favorite because we're graduating to greatness this week. I was a 39-point favorite. It would have been like 50 almost if I would have started what ESPN said. But you know what? I should be writing articles on ESPN.
I've got half my team tied behind my back to make it fair.
Yeah, Breeze and Sproles.
And we'll see.
You're not going to beat me with no Breeze and Sproles. That's ridiculous. That is foolish. That's just crazy talk.
We'll see.
So, but now. Well, you gonna say something?
Not, yeah, I was say if you don't win this, then it'll be pretty big crow to eat. But now we've got our first ever introduction here, an interview of the Picket Fence Cartel.
Yes, the owner, residing from Green Bay, Wisconsin, from the Green Bay West High. What position did you play?
Lineman.
Offense or defensive?
Offense.
Offensive lineman from the Green Bay West Wildcats, coming in at 6'5", 320 pounds. That's wrestling talk. In real reality, is more like 6'2" and about 240, maybe?
Sure.
240. Nick! Wait for the music. Larscheid! Hey, Drew! Yes. You guys are all fruitcake.
Some of these guys really get into the music, I see. Well,
Nick's a big Skrillex fan, so that was in honor of him. I like Skrillex too, but not like he does.
They're awful. Well, anyhow, first of all, welcome to the show, Nick. Good to have you. Your team this year is 3-2, looking respectable out there. Your team and my team.
A little bit in the camera.
Your team and my team are the 2 teams that are just out of the playoffs right now, but we're making a push. First of all, just so everybody in the league understands, explain your team name.
Well, the team name Picket Fence Cartel comes from a band reference from Project 86. You know, one of my favorite albums of all time. Not only that, but I think it fits well with football, being the picket fence, going towards the defensive side of the football. You know, how they always hold up the defense. So that's kind of
defense.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where I get the name from.
Was it from the defense or the Green Bay Packer fan fence that's on lining Lombardi Field?
Maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah, they have fences too.
And speaking of Project 86, a fan of the show, Sean Snyder, he's actually been in a couple Project 86 music videos. Just a little shout out to Kelly. It's a Dry Heat's older brother, Sean. Just a little shout out to him. You know, if he ever played in this fantasy football league, he would definitely take over Gelhar's spot as the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
You're in and you're out. He would
know what he was doing.
But we're not going to pick on him. He's not even in the league. Another thing on your team this year, Nick, you know, as a 3-2 team, as the first team out of the playoffs right now on the bubble, what is it going to take for your team to make the playoffs this year?
Well, my team needs to step it up. I mean, Steve Smith and Jordy Nelson, they've been dropping the ball lately.
Speaking of Jordy Nelson, there's a conspiracy. Last year, Jordy Nelson had how many touchdowns? 15, right?
15.
50 touchdowns. How many does he have this year through 5 weeks?
0.
And who replaced Greg Jennings for the Green Bay area A&W hamburger promotions?
Jordy Nelson.
And the deal is where basically if Jordy Nelson scores a touchdown, you get an 87-cent deluxe hamburger or cheeseburger or something like that.
Exactly.
And it used to be the Papa Burger, 85 cents with Jennings. Now it's 87 cents. It's a different hamburger with Jordy Nelson. I think that there's some shenanigans going on, some wheel and dealing behind closed doors.
In Washington.
In Washington, and I think...
Some ultragonic rockifications and some Zegnatronic spacifications.
Yeah, there's definitely some shady business going on. I think that A&W is slipping Jordy Nelson some money under the table. They don't want people to have cheap hamburgers. I think that's the only explanation I can think of. 5 weeks without a touchdown is because they don't want to give people cheap hamburgers at A&W.
Do you think there's been any resurrections of Benjamin Franklin's?
I don't know, but there might have been some orangutan juice boxes.
Well played.
Okay.
Well, you know, I think that it's really Greg Jennings is gone, and he's not been playing, and that he's just not the same guy without Greg Jennings out there.
The problem is that they're playing two safeties high, and they can't get their shot plays downfield. Although he missed them twice last week. Nelson had, a 60-70-yard touchdown that got overthrown.
I mean,
and 2 weeks before that, he had a 60-something-yarder that was wide open.
Rodgers hasn't been in his game.
Yeah, Rodgers is off. But I'm getting frustrated. I love Aaron Rodgers, but he is a little off right now, and I think that's hurting Nelson.
It's not like they're not giving him the shots. I mean, it's the shots. Plus, but also, you know, Chris Johnson needs to step it up. I mean, drafted him as my first-round draft pick.
Yeah,
he hasn't produced, 2 games now that he's actually scored some points. This week with 10, 11 points.
Sonic the Hedgehog's been a major disappointment.
The question is, if he has a really good off season again, will people get bamboozled into drafting him yet again in the first round?
Most likely.
I don't see it. Well, now we're gonna have you pick 2 games. First of all, the one that Jeff and I have a little contention because it's the broadcast poll of the week. Between Jeff and my team, who do you think is going to win this week?
No weaknesses.
Unfortunately, he thinks he has no weaknesses, but
hey, 4 starting running backs, 5 starting receivers. Hayward, Bay, and Floyd are on the bench. 2 starting tight ends with Witten and Cook. I don't have a backup quarterback, but who needs one with Rodgers? Vikings and Cowboys D. Akers at kicker. Where's the weakness? Tell me where the weakness is.
Your 2 starting running backs haven't produced the way that they should have.
McFadden and Murray, but they're still dynamite. You got Bradshaw and McGahee if they don't put it together.
They're flash in the pan right now. I mean, they haven't produced as well as the guys you traded for. So, if you want to win this week, you should probably start the guys that you traded for.
No, I'm not benching McFadden and Murray. That's why I have 5 championships here. That's the difference in thinking here.
Now, put up though in the playoffs this last season, who did you beat to reach the championship game?
Buddy Bears, big losers here.
Yeah.
That was
Zero magic.
So okay, gotta make your pick. Jeff against me. Who do you go with?
I pick Eric's team to win. I mean, he's solid at receiver. He's solid at receiver. I mean, his running backs are
no Drew Brees, no Darren Sproles.
Andy Dalton's been playing lights out lately, though. I mean, throwing it deep to AJ Green. It's been
Andy Dalton versus Aaron Rodgers.
I would take Aaron Rodgers any day of the week, but the way he's been playing lately.
Holly's going to try to argue this. Now, we're going to go to the next one here.
That's just trying to stir the pot. That's just stirring the pot.
Your team against Greg. I mean, Jeff and I both picked you. Do you think you're going to take it to Greg? I think Greg should, in the way you've said in the past, get ready for the SmackDown!
Yeah. Well, Let's hope so. I mean, Vic's got me outmatched, especially with LaShawn McCoy. So I hope I pull it out. I mean, my roster up to down is pretty solid.
He's got 2 bye weeks. You know, he's got the Forte and Marshall out on bye.
Yeah.
You know, that really does weigh in your favor. I think your team is going to be 4-2 after this week, and you're no longer going to be on the outside looking in. You're going to be actually one of those teams that are holding on to a playoff spot. You know, so you agree? You think you're going to take it?
I imagine I will. Yeah.
Well, on a 0 to 100% scale, how confident are you?
About 75%.
75%.
3/4 worth.
Okay, I got another question. Are you graduating to greatness this week? Are you graduating to greatness?
I'm gonna say no because I don't want to jump on your bandwagon. So.
I was gonna offer you the hat for the.
No tomfoolery.
I was gonna transfer the graduating to greatness. I was gonna let you wear the hat.
Well, Nick, it's definitely a pleasure to have you on the show. You're a gentleman. You know, I won't call you a scholar yet until you actually win. But thank you for being here.
Did you get any help, by the way, for Rakers?
No.
Matt said he's coming for like an hour or two, I think.
Nah, well, we're probably canceling. We're supposed to get
pretty
heavy rain.
Pretty heavy
rain.
He
was looking for, if anybody wants to help him rake, me and Eric are both working, we can't help.
Maybe Gelhard could come, or Drew or Greg.
Yeah, they can take a...
Lend a hand.
Lend a hand, yeah, Spain.
Come on, you clowns. Step it up.
All right, well, that was the weekly rundown for preview for Week 6 and the interview with Picket Fence Cartel owner Nick Larscheid. We'll be back next week as long as there are no serious injuries or families moving out of state.
And as long as I don't lose.
Then I'll be doing the show alone on my own computer, and he will pretty much refuse to do the show.
The thing is that I'm not losing. There's no way.
By the way, I just want to say in that toilet bowl, I think there might be a way for it to be where neither team wins.
Yeah. Yeah, that's possible.
A tie could be possible because these teams don't deserve to win games.
Yeah, the bye week made some good moves, but then he had an injury with Manal. And then he blew the stupid $79 an Alex Green.
Well, we'll see you guys all next week.
Huh?
Oh, hey, come on, stop recording!
Oh? Huh? Huh? Huh?